Hello, everyone. We'll call this one Don't Cook at Home Without a License, a response to still more calls to regulate homeschooling. So I saw this comic a few days ago. It's pretty widely circulated. I'll let you take a look at it here. So on the top, what a terrible polluting environment, she says, while walking through farmland with a confused sheep. And on the bottom, that's better, with solar panels and windmills and a dead bird underneath a windmill, among other things. So there's a lot going on in this comic, but one thing going on here, I think, is that the technical mind has been trained to think that the real things in the world are the things that exist in spreadsheets. The real things are the things under our control. So the first picture here at least has fences. I mean, without that, it would be totally wild. But the second is fully under our technical control, right? We don't want an environmentalism that is just letting nature do her thing. We want an environmentalism that is tracked and monitored and built. If you're watching this, you've been trained into that mindset as well to some extent. I was telling someone yesterday that when I was younger, the cash I had felt like real money, and whatever I had in the bank, which wasn't much back then anyway, was sort of fictitious. And at some point, though, that reversed. Now my digital assets, which are tracked, are the thing that feels real to me, and whatever paper fiat I have is off the grid, sort of literally, and feels less real. I mean, why I can spend my paper cash after all, and my spreadsheets don't even notice. Alexandros Marinas recently posted this. Oh no, someone discovered cooking at home, aka unregulated, untested dietary supplements. How can we possibly be alive with non-standardized air invading our lungs with every breath? Just the thought of the regulatory infractions is enough to give me a heart attack. And he's responding to a Daniel Beckman post about Andrew Huberman. I don't listen to him. But so I know he's popular though. So I suspect some of you love Huberman, some of you hate him. Whatever, this is not really about him. But Marinos here senses the problem in his comment there, right? How can we be alive with non-standardized air invading our lungs? And cooking at home involves the use of untested, unregulated dietary supplements. You probably don't even have a degree in culinary science. Some of you even grow the food you eat, which is even more horrible. Okay, we laugh, but we laugh because we're used to it, right? But the technocratic mind, which thinks everything, really everything, should be under the control of experts, would be troubled by the idea of just anybody producing unregulated products for consumption. To say it another way, if we lived in a world where literally all cooks were already licensed cooks, and somebody proposed, how about we just let anybody try cooking, the proposal would be decried as incredibly dangerous. So you can see how I think that this is also a comment about homeschooling. So in their latest issue, here we go, Scientific American, a formerly great magazine, which I read as a kid, which now regularly opines about politics while pretending it's just doing science, called for more regulation of homeschooling. They do mention in the piece that homeschooled children seem to do very well, so that's nice of them. But then they go on. But many parents are attracted to homeschooling because they want to have more say in what their child learns and what they do not. Nearly 60% of homeschool parents who responded to the 2019 NCES survey said that religious instruction was a motivation in their desire to educate at home, and religious people are bad. Some Christian homeschooling curricula teach young earth creationism instead of evolution. Other curricula describe slavery as black immigration or extol the virtues of Nazism. Yes, I'm sure the virtues of Nazism curriculum is very popular. You should be more like government schools and do harmless stuff, like telling girls they were born in the wrong body and need drugs and surgery to be happy. But anyway, amidst the crazy talk, including multiple paragraphs about homeschooling as an excuse to secretly abuse children, they request the following. Federal mandates, federal because you can't trust those conservative states, for reporting and assessment, require the yearly submission of documents to show children are learning, and require homeschooling parents to pass a background check just like teachers. Now there's a lot going on here. For one, homeschooling has only been relatively ignored for so long because it was small enough that it wasn't seen as a threat. So you homeschooling people can be sort of grateful that you're now seen as dangerous. Classical Christian schools also will feel, and to some extent now are feeling, that same sort of pressure as the classical education movement is also growing. And of course, I have to laugh at concerns like we don't know what kind of education the homeschoolers are receiving. Well, we do know what kind of education the government schoolers are receiving, and that's sometimes terrifying. So, yeah. But part of it again is this technical mindset, right? Unregulated homeschooling. That's like wild, man. We need background checks. We need forms submitted. We need federal mandates. We need every child with an ID number and a spreadsheet. And once we get the camel's nose in that tent, we're going to need more and more, I assure you. This is still outside the Overton window for the moment, but this same mindset would be pleased if having children at all required a license. Why exactly should homeschooling require a background check when this is basically a background check just to be a parent? Well, their minds aren't quite there yet, but they'd be happy if just being a parent required a background check too.